residential development. I'm not sure where to begin on that. Do you want to present to us Scarmazzi's?
Sure, we can. Hello, I'm Brian Metzler with T3 Global Strategies on behalf of Scarmazzi Homes. The Highland Village Phase 2 subdivision is a portion of a PRD with the township for several years. So it's the construction off of Hidden Hollow Road that's been going on. The first phase consisted of several quad unit buildings, 4 units together. Phase 2 is the single family portion of the site. So this plat consists of 17 single family homes. The grading has pretty much been done with the exception of some fine grading. Storm drainage is mostly in. The storm ponds are in their erosion and sediment phase, and sanitary sewer has been approved by Peters Creek Sewer Authority and is still under construction. So I think what we're looking to do is record the subdivision plat and bond the infrastructure that's not completed. So really here tonight to answer any questions that you have. I think nothing has changed with the development. I know we've had some change in the township and with engineers and whatnot. So, we're here to answer any questions. We're also willing to meet to sit down with the new folks and new consultants that you're using and make sure everybody's on the same page with the project.
TJ, you've had a chance to look at all that stuff, right?
Yeah, so at the supervisors meeting last week, we were handed a copy of the Phase 2 subdivision application. Harshman prepared a comment letter on December 22nd, which has one comment in there and recommends tentative approval. So our office didn't go through a thorough review, considering that's already been done. We did not issue a comment letter of our own, considering that's already been done. So I have a couple questions to go over with Brian, but it's sort of our understanding at this point that this is the preliminary subdivision application for Phase 2, and if that were to be recommended for approval tonight, it would then go to the supervisors board for their consideration, and then ultimately the developer would come back with the final subdivision application consistent with the subdivision and land development ordinances. So that's about the extent of our comments right now. I do have a few questions for Brian's group, so I guess, am I able to ask those now, or would it be best
to? Yes, because we need to know also. Sure.
So I guess, Brian, just jumping into our list here, can you give an update as to the status of the sanitary sewage facilities planning module? When you did your original planning module, was Phase 2 considered, and was
yes?
So has
sewage plan has been approved. It was completed for the 107 units total, consisting of Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3.
Okay.
And that was signed off by all parties, approved by the DEP. So that's probably been done.
So sewage is accounted for already.
Yes.
And you mentioned stormwater, that some of those storm sewers are in construction. I'm assuming that from a permitting standpoint, the NPDES construction discharges from
yes, correct.
Stormwater discharges construction
activities. The project was permitted in the entirety, Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3.
Okay. From
sewage planning and from Washington County Conservation District.
Okay. So everything's accounted for from a
yes.
stormwater and E&S standpoint
yes.
for NPDES. Okay, great. Thank you. You mentioned pursuing subdivision approval now for the purposes of bonding. Where do we stand with posting financial surety for improvements that the township's going to take over ultimately for roadways, storm sewers?
Sequestered account agreement, according to Dennis, he's going to be sending me copies of it, and it was approved at the last supervisors meeting.
Yeah, so there was an amendment to the sequestered account agreement approved at last.
Yeah, our bank signed it. We're just waiting for signatures from you guys, and he's sending it to us.
What about posting surety for Phase 2? Everything was bonded at one time at the beginning.
Phase 1 and Phase 2 is in that amendment.
I got you. Okay, thank you. So then I'm presuming that there's no changes then to a developer's agreement or stormwater operation and maintenance agreement for Phase 2?
Not that I'm
no
aware
changes to any of that. Everything's been accounted for. Okay. So I was looking at the maps there and just had a general question regarding your overall layout and some of the proposed connections to adjoining properties. I mean, you're showing, we can open up the drawing and look at it,
Sure.
but you're showing, you know, some, I'm presuming one of those connections is for phase 3, but I guess I just had a general question about what's the intent, what's the intent with this connection here?
That connection is a stub street.
I mean, this is somebody's residence right
Yes,
there.
our project has nothing to do with that, other than the fact that this is a larger tract of land
Okay,
that goes all the way back in here, and then there's that one gentleman has a home that's subdivided out. So, you know, our intent's to dead end it as a hammerhead, as in the approved land development plans,
okay,
and, you know, have no, I guess, no thoughts of ever
okay.
going further.
So this is the connection to phase
Yeah,
3
this-
ultimately, which would be a temporary
No,
cul-de-sac?
phase 3 would actually be down in here. This part is not platted. So phase 1 plat runs through here and picks up these buildings.
Okay,
Phase 2 would be the single family, and phase 3 will be these, which those are all permitted as a land development package. This street, we proposed a cul-de-sac,
Mhm.
but a right-of-way in case extension ever happens in the future.
got it, understood.
There's a
Okay.
tract of land that's owned by the Dawsey family, who originally sold this property. to
So we'll do this
someone
part.
else.
Yeah.
Yes, so, you know, that is a viable development opportunity. We don't have any plans right now, but, you know, we allowed for that. And then throughout everything we did, there's sanitary sewer and utilities brought to that property.
Okay. And then I noticed just by looking at the township zoning map that it looks like a small portion of this tract is located in the airport overlay. Were there considerations made for that at the beginning, or?
In the section that we're platting now, we haven't done anything with the airport overlay.
Okay. Okay, is that something that the,
Airport overlay?
yeah, we were looking at this drawing and the, township zoning map in our office today, and I noticed that in the northernmost, corner there, yeah, thanks. The parcel that they're, developing currently is bisected by that, overlay there. So we weren't sure if there were any considerations made at the beginning of the project, to impacts there.
Is that for planes flying over, or what is that?
I'm not sure the intent of that, overlay there, but
It used to be a
it's-
Nike site.
Oh,
I'm wondering if that doesn't go back to the Nike.
Because the
But it used to be a Nike, that property used to be a Nike site.
yeah, those
That
little
property was a
houses.
Nike
Yeah.
site, that could be why there's an airport
Or
overlay, it
overlay.
might not have ever changed,
So I believe we're
I'm not
ready.
positive.
Exactly, yeah, it's labeled C2 on here, this isn't a, so this is, this whole arc that swings around like that. It's part of, considerations for the airport approach, and I'm nowhere near an expert on any of that, but.
Okay, because the airport itself is.
way over there.
Yeah, the airport's right where you're pointing there now.
That's why there's that air thing on Turkey side.
Yep.
That dates back all the way to the Nike side. That thing that looks like a big bowling pin.
So that dark blue
Right here.
right there, that's the airport.
It's here, yeah.
And then there's various boundaries for visual approach surface, things of that nature. So, you know, we were just curious more so than anything else, if anything was considered.
You can't build tall, you can't have tall buildings, I don't think homes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my,
just more trees.
That's correct, yeah, there's perimeters that every so many,
Things on airplanes.
You can't build a high rise.
Yeah, and as far as I know, the airport overlay did not come up. We went through a
Okay.
PRD and tentative and final land, so I think 2 to 3.
it's probably a
processes.
minor, it was just, you know, our office is getting familiar with the
Sure.
township here, and it was, you know, a question that we had more so than anything else, but, generally speaking, we don't have any major concerns at this point with preliminary approval for phase 2. as it was presented and as Harshman mentioned in their comment letter, so, that's all that I have.
I have